What's up, Mavs fans? Coming up on Dallas Mavericks Today, a couple of different topics. We'll start with the latest Jalen Brunson trade buzz. Could he get dealt? Will he stay? We'll discuss that coming up here in just a moment. Also, the top 20 NBA trade targets. A lot of big names, some mid-tier names that could be dealt, and maybe the Mavs could get involved as well. And then also subscribe. Help us get closer to 16,000 subscribers. We're just about 500 away, not 1,500 away, 500 away. So hit that big red button. All that and more coming up on today's episode of Dallas Mavericks Today. What's going on? I'm your host, Harrison Graham, and hey, that trade deadline, it is just around the corner. Less than 2 weeks away. It'll be 2 Thursdays from now, February 10th. The trade deadline will come and go, and we'll be interested to see if the Mavericks are active before then. Okay, Jalen Brunson. Will he get traded? Well, Bleacher Report dropped an article that indicated that he could get dealt for that February 10th NBA trade deadline. Michael Scotto of HoopsHype says that the Pistons also really like Jalen Brunson. He's set to be a free agent this summer, which is why some of these trade rumors have circulated, because, well, what if the Mavs don't want to pay him? Because he might get $20 million per year. Why is he going to get $20 million per year? Well, the season he's having continues to be absolutely tremendous. 16 points per game, dishing out over 5.5 dimes. The field goal percentage is outrageous, especially considering he's actually dipped this year in three-point percentage, but his overall game continues to grow, and he continues to be a fantastic young player. Look, Brunson's going to cost a lot of money. He just is, folks. Like Jalen Brunson, if he gets 4 years and $80 million, don't be surprised. Like, it is very much a possibility that JB is going to get the bag, if not from the Dallas Mavericks, from someone else. And that is why these trade rumors have been circulating, because it's going to be hard to keep both Jalen Brunson and a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith. So will the Mavs trade Jalen Brunson? Type T for trade, type K for keep him. Let us know down in the comments. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, scroll on down and answer this question. I would keep Jalen Brunson. He just continues to prove that he's too valuable, and when you look at his growth during his career, it's like he's not flatlining, guys. Like, he's still improving. He might be a 20-point scorer in a couple of years. In his first couple of years, he was in that 8 to 9 point per game range there. But then last season, makes the jump to 12.5 points. You see the field goal percentage and three-point percentage last year. This year on more volume, field goal percentage is still held up at 50%, averaging almost 16 points per game. The assists per game this year has been the biggest jump at over 2 more than last year. Sure, the three-point percentage is dipped a bit, but he's still having a really, really good year, and he's going to cost a lot of money, and he's probably worth it. Now, I'd rather trade Dorian Finney-Smith. I'm not saying I would trade him, but if I'm going to trade one of these guys because I'm thinking that I'm going to lose at least one of them in free agency, that would be the guy I would trade. Now, that's a lot harder now that Tim Hardaway may not return this year after he broke a bone in his foot. That injury really throws a dart into the Mavs' plans, I would think. Like, I think now Nico Harrison has to be sitting there thinking, okay, like, how aggressive can we actually get at the trade deadline? Because Tim isn't here to play for this team probably the rest of the year, and B, isn't a trade chip that you can trade now. So Jalen Brunson naturally becomes that other guy that gets connected to trade rumors, but I think the Mavs value him too much. I don't think they're going to trade Brunson this offseason. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but we'll see what happens. I can tell you this. If that happens, we'll be breaking it down here on Dallas Mavericks Today. Subscribe to the channel for some more Dallas Mavericks trade rumors, news around the Mavs and the NBA, injury updates, and everything else to do with this basketball team. Hit that big red button and stay in the know with your Dallas Mavericks. All right, let's take a look at the top 20 trade targets, candidates that could get dealt before the NBA trade deadline. This isn't on any ranking system. This is basically just 20 names that have been linked to a ton of trade rumors. Goran Dragic, you guys know his connection to the Mavs with Luka, etc. Does he get dealt? I think it's possible. Terrence Ross, he's a player in Orlando that I think will likely get traded because he's the one left over from kind of that veteran group that got dealt last year. Talen Horton-Tucker, the Lakers going to try to ship him to upgrade their roster. Could Dallas get in on THT? Gary Trent Jr. has been connected to some trade rumors, a promising young wing with the Toronto Raptors. Caris LeVert, a player we talked about recently here on Dallas Mavericks Today as a possible THJ replacement, as is Buddy Hield. I think both those guys could be possible targets for Dallas, definitely for other teams. Eric Gordon having a really nice year with the Houston Rockets, shooting the ball really well from the outside. Dennis Schroeder, a player I've talked about a few times now. I think he would be great for this second unit, running point for the Mavs' second-team offense. Marcus Smart, a player that's been connected to Dallas forever with his defensive intensity, obviously brings a lot on that side of the ball. But the Mavs, one of the better defensive teams, may not make sense to go make a play for Smart at this time. What is the Mavericks' biggest need right now? That is the question I have for you guys down in the comments section. What is the Dallas Mavericks' biggest need at this point in time? Like, if you're making a trade, what type of player do they need to go get? Do they need a big? Do they need a wing? Do they need a ball handler, a creator? I think they could improve in a lot of areas. But I want to know, if you had to pick one, what is their biggest need? You look at some bigs now, too. Marvin Bagley III still kind of stuck in purgatory out there in Sacramento. Be interested to see if he gets dealt. Domantas Sabonis, Myles Turner there as well. A couple of bigs in Indiana who have been connected to trade rumors. Thaddeus Young with the Spurs, a veteran that he just helps teams win, and I think he's a guy that could help you do that. John Collins with the Hawks as well, but the Hawks are starting to play well, so will they trade him? We'll have to wait and see. Some big-name guards, C.J. McCollum with the Portland Trailblazers. Do they blow it up? Maybe Russell Westbrook, John Wall. I think those two guys can only get traded for one another, essentially, because both of their contracts are terrible. But if the Rockets want to do a swap with L.A., I suppose they could try to do that. And then you got a few blockbuster guys. Ben Simmons. What's going to happen there, right? Is Daryl Morey going to pull the trigger on a trade? We'll see. I don't know if Dallas would get involved there. I think Dallas would have some interest in Jeremy Grant. He might be the biggest name that actually does get dealt, if Simmons does not. I don't know if Bradley Beal gets dealt. He did say recently that he's not going to re-up in Washington until he thinks it's obvious that they are committed to winning at a high level, so maybe trading him does make some sense. I'm not personally expecting the Mavs to make a blockbuster trade. I think any chance of that kind of got drained when you lost the asset of Tim Hardaway Jr. because he could have been involved in a blockbuster type of trade, and now he's injured. So that makes things very, very difficult. Other names to watch that, I don't think at this point get traded because reports coming out of Sacramento recently is that Halliburton and Fox probably won't get moved. Christian Wood, I think the Rockets like him. Damian Lillard, who's obviously banged up. You would have to offer a ton to these teams to get some of these guys, but there are some names to keep an eye on as we progress into closer to the deadline here on February 10th. All right, who is your dream trade target for the Dallas Mavericks? Let's hear it for you guys down in the comment section. And again, we will have you guys covered if anything happens. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let us know who's your dream trade target, and we'll see you soon here on the channel.